And welcome back, everyone, to part 3 of What If Deku had a double fruit, the Ushi Ushi no Mi mild giraffe fruit. Or as we're officially calling him now, Neku. So Neku is here neck to neck with all the other necks. His neck will out-neck all the necks. He is the neck hero Deku. But last time, it came to a draw in the sports festival between Bakugo and Midoriya. It is after the sports festival that Midoriya gets a little bit of time off, and All Might and him finally make the decision. It is time. All right, All Might, how am I supposed to obtain this quirk? Here, eat this. What? Go on, do it, eat it. And so it's going to take a little bit before it digests. And so once it digests, it's like, all right, try it out. Breaks his arm. So he practices for a little bit with it. Fortunately, Recovery Girl's there, helps heal him up. I was like, yeah. Now, using it with your quirk could be dangerous, Midoriya, especially since you haven't really learned to control it at all. But that's what this next phase of your training will be. It won't be with me, Midoriya. Actually, it won't be with me, Midoriya. No, but I've arranged for your work study coming up with someone very specific. This would be key. Now, a lot of people might not think he's going immediately with Gran Torino, but I have a feeling if All Might is considering Midoriya, he's actually probably spoken with his old master before at this point. And he probably is, and we also know he's probably spoken with Night Eye. And he knows because the work studies are coming up. Now, that being said, you could make the argument that, well, I'll just take you for my work study instead. But that'd be All Might showing favoritism, very clearly showing favoritism. I do not think he'd want to be that obvious. So, with that being said, I think Gran Torino is still very much in play as a character in this version. Now, in terms of his name, I still think Neku actually makes a lot of sense. Neku is the name of a hero! But yeah, so Midoriya ultimately goes like, hello? Hey, oh, that's what I get for walking around with sausage links covered in ketchup. Who are you again? What's that? It's like, look, I don't know how to this. Show me your one for all, and I also want to see your quirk. Toshinori said you actually have a pretty solid quirk, pretty interesting quirk, all things considered. This guy's playing shit. It's like, look, I don't really have time. I'll say it again. Come at me, you neophyte. All right, fine. Goes into giraffe mode. It's like, huh? A giraffe? Deku realizes I can't really use my quirk in here. Oh, what's the? I see. I had heard Toshinori had said you would be able to turn into a giraffe, but fighting in this small location is going to be a little bit more. It's going to be a little trickier, and he's moving around fast. Deku does have enhanced physicality, but he can't even use. That's actually a good question. Can awakened Zoan users do partial transformations in an awakened form? We know they can do partial transformations. We just don't know generally. We just don't know if, say, they wanted to use the awakened level of their power. Actually, that's another question. With awakened double fruit, particularly Paraneciums, you aren't using the awakened power all the time. You're using you have like a certain level of control over the base power. Like, for example, technically speaking, the awakened power of the Gomu Gomu no Mi or the Hio Hio no Mi model Nika is Gear 5. That's the awakened power. But Luffy still has all the other abilities he had prior to that. With Zoan users, we only know of a couple awakened Zoan. Are you always in an awakened form now when you use that? I'm actually not 100% sure. I will say this. I'm going to treat it like a transformation more than like a transformation rather than a state of growth for this series. But that's a legit question I'm not sure about. If anyone's got an answer for it, do let me know. I'm actually very curious about that now. Anyway, Deku, so Toshinori, Gran Torino comes in, starts kind of wailing on Deku. Okay, think about it. I gotta get it, but I can't transform. I'm not completely able to. Come at me, you pretty nearly as whoa! And then Deku swipes up. It's like, I see. Interesting. You can transform partially. That's gonna. Deku brings out the other arm. You're pretty fast too, kid. I'll give you that. And then Deku jumps with giraffe legs. She's like, boom, boom. Pretty quick on your feet there, but you got to do better than that. And then so Deku's like, I can't use the ability. I gotta focus. Don't I gotta and he's thinking about the egg in the microwave. Thinking about the egg on the microwave. Don't let it break. It's like, and he finally gets put down. And so they practice for a while. Nothing's coming of it. Eventually, he would still figure out the was it takoyaki in the microwave. He'd figure that out. And so, he spreads it evenly around his body. Now, this is actually a very interesting question here. Deku's Devil Fruit, I think, gives him a physicality that would allow him to use One for All without blowing his limbs off. What would be the safe percentage of full cowling he could use? Because his body literally changes with his own fruit. So he's got a different literal biology at this point. Different physicality, all that. I would say this. I do think it's over 5%. I don't think it's over 10% for the initial use. I would say 7-ish%, which is still pretty powerful. All things except for a first-time use. It's not like he could use them. If he could use over 10% on the first time, he'd actually be pretty busted for that point in the series. And he probably would have almost certainly beaten Bakugo in their actual fight when they eventually had it after the revisionary license exam. But Deku shows off that they're using like 7%. And it's been a long time since they had to dodge a blow. It still beats Deku. But he's impressed by his speed. Deku's also trying to combine it a little bit with his quirk, but he can't really use it effectively. Should note, I want to be very clear about the Devil Fruit thing here versus One for All. No, sorry, just heard something going, yeah, all right, outside. I'm at my girlfriend's place. You can tell by the back, I'm at my girlfriend's place. She lives in a college town. So, yeah, anyway, I digress. I think where was it? Oh, yeah. Because even though technically he's got what's labeled a quirk, he doesn't actually have it. He's got a Devil Fruit. Now, again, I've always theorized that the easy way to explain Devil Fruit in the world of My Hero Academia is that they function the exact same way a Devil Fruit does. But it's essentially what happens if we know animals can manifest quirks too. I think in this case, vegetables, fruit also go through genetic quandaries. Like quirks somehow are like all throughout the world. It's just a very specific type of quirk. Now, calling it a quirk, does that mean it's still going to burn through Deku's lifespan like the other users of One for All? For the sake of argument, even though I'm calling it a quirk, I'm going to say no. It is let me put it this way. People in the world would label them quirks, but they're not actually quirks. They just function like. I think that's about it. They function like quirks, but are not. So I actually don't think, because Deku technically actually is free from the issues of the quirk factor burning his just life force out. I think he'd be safe here, which also means he should be again. The whole him unlocking all the other quirks. I've never actually seen something that implied it was because he was quirkless he could activate it. If that were the case, All Might would have activated them. That wasn't the case. It was, as Bancho basically said when Midoriya first awoke with Black Whip, that it's been just waiting and just preparing all this time. And now the time is right. That's where the ninth user was, whoever the ninth user was going to be, whether they had a quirk or not, I get the impression they were going to have those quirks start to activate as well. Anyway, we're on a completely different topic. Deku tries to use his quirk tries to use his draft form with the full cowling, but because they're not really practicing outside, Deku isn't really able to utilize his full capability. He's only able to do partial transformations. Even then, it's difficult for him to kind of balance it out a little bit, just because the increased speed is so much once he uses like his giraffe legs that he can't really. He's probably end up putting up a couple of holes in Gran Torino's wall. I was like, all right, I think we need to try a bit more of a practical approach. Besides, I don't need you putting any more holes in my wall, Midoriya. Why am I sounding like this? I don't know. He's got a bit more of a gruff mentor voice, except when he's except he's acting like the old man. What's that? I can do that voice. So this would lead us into the hero killer Stain arc, which still, if Deku would show back up, immediately shows up to to stop Stain from killing Ida, and he hits him with a full calo enhanced giraffe leg. To restate how powerful a giraffe kick actually is, a giraffe kick on the weekend, not on the weekend, but on the weak end of the spectrum, could give you internal bleeding like that. It would break your ribs like that. On the high end, it can break a lion's neck, even like a Cape Buffalo, which kill lions for sport, for fuck's sake. They do not. Cape Buffalo do not F around. Like, they are just hateful creatures. Cape Buffalo are scares off. Even a Cape Buffalo would not want to be kicked by a giraffe. And those things are tanks. Point being, a giraffe kick is very, very dangerous for a normal person. Now, Stain isn't a normal person. Stain's a physically, I don't know if it goes so far as say he's peak, but he's definitely in shape. Also, a lot of people in Quirk society tend to be a bit more enhanced. So even though his quirk is blood curdling, it's very possible he does in fact have a slightly enhanced physique. Like, there are quirks that have like a main quirk, but then there's like a bunch of sub abilities that come along with those quirks. Heteromorphs like Shoji are perfect examples of this quirk, or perfect examples of this exception, because his main quirk is to just create multiple appendages of his own body on his own body. Like, he can create multiple arms, multiple fingers, multiple eyes, multiple mouths. But he also does in fact get enhanced strength from this. He can even like create gliding effects with it. And there's other types of abilities that come with that. Dark Shadow, for example, apart from being a sentient being that's like attached to Tokiyame, he also has a freaking bird head. But it also, as we know, can lift him up and give him the ability to fly. So some quirks can do multiple things. Now, do I think Stain has actual enhanced like physicality, like super strength? Actually, a little bit. Because he was literally able to just cut through a straight block of ice that Shoto made. So actually, his swords are not sharp, by the way. I'm glad I heard that. They're sharp, but they're not well-kept swords. They're very haggard, broken-looking swords that are jagged-looking, probably because they're actually better designed for catching blood that way. So, yes, I actually think he has a mild degree of super strength. But that being said, it hurts. He gets up. He's like, the kid cracked a rib. And it's like, go away. This isn't your fight, Midoriya. If I were to leave you now, what kind of hero would I be? It's like, yeah, you've got possibilities, kid. And so they kind of clash. And Deku is immediately in full cowling, just trying out full cowling. At 7%, he's moving a little faster, but we know Stain ended up catching him anyway. And he tries to like get him. Oh, God. Starting to get a cold, I think. My nose is a little clogged at the moment. Anyway. So he catches Midoriya off guard, or almost off guard, but then Midoriya turns into Neku. I am the Neku is the name of a hero. It's a long neck hero. It's like, it even stays like, Neku? It's like, ah! And unfortunately now it's Giraffe Deku, and he's not transformed into his awakened form yet, but he's definitely a lot stronger. He's trying to cut Deku, but between using full cowling to enhance himself and using his giraffe hybrid form, or even just his standard giraffe form, he is a bit more durable, so the blade doesn't initially cut. You realize, I could cut it, but it's going to take more force. He does manage to nick him finally, only for Deku to just, boom, hit him with his giraffe neck, which again, those things will hurt. And crashes Stain against the wall. Coughs up a little bit of blood. But then, he's not just a giraffe standing still. Just, I can't move. So you're interesting. Hey, I can't remember how he was like, you've got potential. There's that can be said. So I'm going to let you live. It's like, you, damn it. And so, yeah, Stain is going after Ida now, and that's when Shoto shows up. Eventually, Deku snaps out of it, just boom. Comes in. This time he's just gone full awakened mode. And in awakened mode, this is where it stays pretty much after. Like, it goes pretty much as it goes in the original. Just, boom. And this time, I can also see a moment where the sword comes down on Midoriya, but the flames that come off of Midoriya's awakened draft form just block it, just grab the sword and pull it out. Because again, I want to believe those flames aren't just aesthetic. Those flames have to like have a purpose. Like maybe they burn. Maybe they're burn on more spiritual. Maybe they'll attack not physical strength, but life force or something. I don't know. I have to assume they do something like that. Or they could be used for grab. They have a physical presence and so I don't know. All I know is everyone is tired out. Nomu catches Deku. Deku, though, I think, is about to transform back, though he's definitely tired, and that's when Sting comes in. And it's like, hero killer. Hey, Dever, you fake. Come on, you fake! None of you are worthy. There's only one. All the might is worthy. He passed out. And so they all get in the earful for I don't know if he's the chief of police, but the police guy. the detective on call. And yeah, he's God, I don't know why this literally just came on. Like one of my nostrils is not fully clogged, but okay, if you can hear that. Like, God. Anywho, I digress. Again, for the empty time. So this would actually lead us to the graduation match, or not graduation, but final exam match, where Bakugo and Midoriya have to be teamed together. It's like, well, we can't just take on Alma. It's like, shut up. I said, shut up. Just hits Deku. Who probably wasn't really expecting it this time. In other versions, he definitely sees it coming. Like, definitely sees it coming and definitely could block it. And he could have blocked it here, but it was just like, he wasn't expecting him to just flat slap him. It's like, I don't need your help. This is why we can't get all work together. But obviously, All Might puts Midoriya down. Bakugo starts feeling. Midoriya, honestly, just goes into full awaken mode. Just goes. It also adds full cowling on there, so it's like 7% full awaken cowling. And for what it's worth, just boom. It's like, it's a pretty good shot. Like, not bad, young Midoriya. Trying to save young Bakugo, but you have to do better than that. And so Midoriya, it's starting. Him and All Might are kind of duking out, but All Might's just stronger straight out. And without going for a full power attack, Midoriya's got enough. It can't really do much. His awakened form is strong and certainly provides a little bit of versatility with the longer reach. He's still hitting hard using his giraffe neck, but it's just not enough. He does. I think though I could see him using the flames, temporary blind All Might, and get Bakugo out of there. And so they have to form the plan. They work together, land a shot on All Might. He goes flying back. It's like, you'll have to do better than that. Get out of here, you idiot! I'd rather fail than accept help from his. Like, as long as you have no regrets. And so ultimately, though, Deku comes in, saves his ass. Just sorry, Deku, I just can't so I guess can't help but do the opposite of what you say. Just crack him all by right. Just not bad at all. Not my voice is not the same. Not bad at all. Not bad at all, young Midoriya. And so that would lead us into, and I think where we're going to end this today is, well, let's first off get to where we're going to go. So they would go to the mall, Shigaraki, and say, hey, you're the kid who turns into a giraffe, aren't you? You're really, look, hey, no, man, you're really cool. It's like, well thanks. Sorry, it's been a while since we actually spoke. It's like, yeah, I put one more finger on this, your throat goes. It wouldn't matter if the cops got you or not, you're gone. So let's get some tea and talk. I don't really like much, and I really hate everything. So, again, he explains the hero killer and walks off. So they go for their training in the woods. Deku, Ida, Shoto, Bakugo, they're all just cleaving through there. But ultimately, they get there. Koda still punches Deku in the nads. Still don't get why he actually did it. Like, what a little I don't care if you don't like heroes, but what a little shit Koda was. And, they have a nice hot bath. Now, Deku in Italy is weakened by the water. And Bakugo wasn't there for the match or for them in the UA attack or the USJ attack. He actually takes note that Deku is a little off. Like, wait, is water his weakness? Interesting. Or it's like, what? Why is that idiot acting that way? The water, unless, wait, it couldn't be water's his weakness. Hey, Deku, I bet I can hold my breath longer than you. You want? And he just tries to shout out, sure. He hasn't even been under for more than a minute, and he's already acting like that's gotta be. He's got to be weak to water. Oh God, you win. Okay. And so meanwhile, they're practicing. Deku is trying to increase how good he is with just one for all, not just his giraffe quirk. His giraffe quirk, he's pretty much mastered his giraffe quirk, honestly. So he's actually working on one for all now, full cowling. Now the excuse is this seems to be a byproduct of his quirk enhanced strength more than anything else. Like he's saying I'm tapping more into the strength of the giraffe. That's what he's doing. All the while, we get to the actual attack, and Muscular shows up, and Deku turns into a awakened giraffe and just saves Koda, and him and Muscular, clash. Boom! And as an awakened giraffe, or in his awakened form, he's certainly able to put more effort into Muscular. Like Muscular can actually feel these hits now, just boom, 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 boom. But it's just not enough. Hell, even like one or two shots from One for All were not enough at first until Deku really went beyond 1,000,000%. So I still see him having to break his limbs here, but he does it. I see what I see happening is that first punch, he's in full awakened giraffe mode. He combines it with his flesh. Flaming giraffe fist. It's like our long neck fist. It's like that's a damn his arm's broken. He's got one good arm though. Says, "Come on, Dakota. I got my other good arm in my legs." I see. So you had to use your quirk. All right, you're allowed to use your quirks in this case. All right, woo! And yeah, they still end up catching Bakugo though. Dory gets healed. They go after Bakugo. All Might and One for All would still have their clash. Now, All Might would be in better shape here because he's been without One for All for a much less amount of time. For a lot shorter of a time. That's what I was trying to say. And because of that, he goes longer in All for One. It's still his last fight. He still's like, Isuku Midoriya. He's the one you gave All for One to, isn't it? Or One for All, isn't it? Now, by the way, how he actually knew that, I mean, he's probably been watching. Though he probably didn't truly know, but he maybe suspected after he heard about some of the things that the League of Villains saw with Deku. And including an enhanced strength even beyond his normal quirk. Still, One for All is a very intelligent guy with info on a lot of things. I think he could have figured it out, regardless of seeing it on TV. So, yeah, you're right. As his teacher, I should have reprimanded him. I failed him, which is why I had to make it up to him. It's embarrassing him by sure saying until he is ready. I refuse to die! A clever trick. That's so unlike you. Still weak, though. That's because I didn't put my back into it that time. And then get the awesomeness. And now it's your turn. Do your best, Toshinori. Do. United States of Smash. Still, even my girlfriend, who was enjoying the series at that point, we were just watching that episode. And she literally was kind of she was quiet. And then when it goes, Smash, she goes, "Who are you? It's like, even though I know a lot of people kind of got, especially on the last arc of My Hero, got a little on My Hero's case, but damn it, I don't know a single person who legitimately hates that moment. Because All Might is just such a great character. He's actually one of those really good mentor characters and just great characters. And Chris Sabat, man, Chris Sabat just nailed that. Boo! And then no, leave him alone. He's working. This is his final act as the hero of peace, or the symbol of peace. Now, it's your turn. And so Midori and All Might, it's All Might. Ow! It's like, you idiot. Well, I used up all my power. And so that's pretty much where we're going to end it. I could do real quick. Let's do the license exam real quick. Deku, frankly, would just have an easier time here. He's already at a higher percentage of 1 for all than he was originally. He's also got his draft form, but honestly, I don't see him doing any full transformations into his draft form because that's frankly just going to make him a bigger target. Although you only are supposed to hit the 3 spots on the target, so if he turns into a giraffe, well, no, because it's on his clothes, but his clothes could be designed to expand, which would actually mean they are farther apart and harder to hit, but more blind spots for Deku. It's not like he has observation. If he had observation hockey, it'd be a moot point. Couldn't touch him. But yeah, no, I think Toga's still going to get those 2 hits, and then she gets off of it. He passes, helps out a little bit with Gang Orca, but ultimately he passes. Bako fails, so they have their fight. We'll end it there because the fight probably going to be a bit more detailed here. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Later.